Imagine World War II, tanks rumbling, machine guns blazing, bombs falling from the sky. And right in the middle of it, one soldier charges into battle. Not with a rifle, not with a machine gun, but with a medieval sword and a longbow. Sounds insane, sounds like a movie. But this is no fiction. This is the true story of mad Jack Churchill, the man who fought the Nazis with weapons from another age. Jack Churchill was born in 1906 in England. But from the very beginning, he wasn't like anyone else. While other soldiers trained with guns, Jack mastered the bagpipes, the bow, and the broadsword. When World War II broke out, he didn't see it as just another war. For Jack, it was a stage to prove that courage mattered more than technology. In 1940, during the British campaign in France, Jack made history. He became the only soldier in World War II confirmed to have killed an enemy with a longbow. While chaos reigned around him, Jack calmly drew his bow and fired an arrow straight into a German soldier. It was medieval warfare, in the middle of the most modern war. Jack didn't stop there. He led charges with his Scottish broadsword raised high. Imagine the sight. Machine guns firing, bombs exploding, and one fearless man running forward with a sword in hand. To Jack, guns were for ordinary men. But courage, that was timeless. In Norway, Jack led commandos through the snow, armed with his sword, bow, and bagpipes. He captured dozens of German soldiers, some without firing a single shot, just with sheer bravery. And every time he went into battle, he played his bagpipes. Imagine the sound echoing across the battlefield, terrifying the enemy, inspiring his men. By now, Jack Churchill wasn't just a soldier, he was a legend. Soldiers whispered about the madman with a sword. His enemies feared him, and his comrades followed him into impossible missions because they knew if Jack was leading, nothing was impossible. Once, during a raid in Italy, Jack charged forward with his sword and captured 42 German soldiers single-handedly. Think about that. One man, with nothing but courage and cold steel, forcing dozens of armed men to surrender. It wasn't just skill. It was the aura of fearlessness. Jack believed that showing no fear was a weapon in itself. But even legends face setbacks. In 1944, Jack was captured by the Germans and sent to a concentration camp. Most men would break. Not Jack. He escaped not once but twice. First through the mountains of Italy, then across forests into Allied territory. For him, surrender was never an option.
Even in the later stages of the war, Jack never slowed down. In Yugoslavia, he led one of his most dangerous commando raids. Under heavy German fire, he charged forward, sword in hand, while his men followed with rifles. The Germans, shocked by this sight, surrendered in large numbers, not just because of the weapons, but because of the madness, the sheer confidence Jack carried into battle. In another mission, Jack and a small unit stormed enemy positions at night. While grenades exploded and bullets tore through the darkness, Jack calmly played his bagpipes before the attack. Imagine the fear of German soldiers, hearing music instead of silence, then being struck by a sudden assault led by a man with a sword. To Jack, this wasn't insanity. It was psychology. He knew courage was contagious, and fear could defeat the enemy before a shot was even fired. But what truly set Jack apart wasn't just his victories, it was his attitude. For most soldiers, every day was survival. For Jack, every day was a challenge, an adventure. He believed danger sharpened the soul, and without it, life lost meaning. While others counted days until peace, Jack feared the silence after war. To him, the battlefield was not chaos. It was clarity.
When the war finally ended in 1945, Jack wasn't relieved. He was disappointed. He famously said, If it wasn't for those damn Yanks, we could have kept the war going another 10 years. For him, war wasn't suffering. It was adventure. But to understand why he said this, you have to realize who Jack really was. Most soldiers prayed for the war to be over, desperate to return home to family and peace. But Jack, he wasn't built that way. For him, the battlefield wasn't horror. It was home. The sound of gunfire was music. The chaos of combat was where he felt most alive. While others looked at war as a curse, Jack saw it as a calling. He carried weapons that belonged to another age, a longbow, a broadsword, and a set of bagpipes. It wasn't just about killing the enemy. It was about style, about making a statement. Jack wanted to prove that courage didn't come from machine guns or bombs. Courage came from the heart of the man holding the weapon. That's why his comrades gave him the nickname Mad Jack, because only a madman would walk into modern war with a sword at his side and smile while doing it. Even when the war was ending and nations across the world were exhausted, Jack was restless. Peace to him was unbearable. He once admitted that civilian life felt empty, that only in the storm of war could he find purpose. Imagine that. While millions were rebuilding shattered homes, Jack was yearning for another battle, another chance to charge with sword raised high. To him, the silence after the war wasn't peace. It was boredom. This mindset separated Jack from everyone else. He wasn't bloodthirsty. He wasn't cruel. He simply believed that life without struggle, without danger, wasn't worth living. War gave him identity. War gave him meaning. And perhaps deep down, Jack feared something greater than death. He feared being ordinary.
Subscribe for more unbelievable true war stories.